2020. I don't know what to say about 2020 anymore. It has been a roller coaster of a year, and I'm kind of happy that it's over, even though, you know, there's still the pandemic, but I still feel like I just needed to get out of 2020. So yeah, it's also been a very interesting and a crazy year because I found a lot of my passions, and I don't know, I just found out so many things about myself this year, and I'm so grateful for everything that I have. This year has brought me into the passion of plants, and I never really thought I would love plants this much, but it's been a nice adventure, I guess, with plants. It's an interesting journey for me to kind of experience this in a way. I'm just going to show you my top 5 favorite plants of this year. So with further ado, let's go. You guys probably saw this coming, but obviously I'm going to put my number 1 as my Pilea. I call them the mochi plant, and I don't know, when I look at it, I just see it as mochi. I remember naming the plant before I even got it mochi, so yeah, that says a lot about me. Obviously, it's my mochi plant, and this is the variegated version. I love the original, like, OG version as well, but once I got the variegated one, I can't. It's super rare, and I fell in love with it the first time that I saw it. I literally had a tear in my eye. You could ask my boyfriend. It's the truth. And also all these plants, I'm going to they're my top 5 for a reason, also to do with their care and their beauty and everything like that. So I'm just gonna like describe a little bit of their care. The watering for this plant, I wait until the soil is completely dry. What that means is when I look at the soil, I touch it, and you know, I kind of evaluate the soil, and I think that it's dry. I don't water it that day, I water it the next day, if that makes any sense whatsoever. That's what I mean when I say I water it when the soil is completely dry. They're not fussy at all, and I've never killed a Pilea plant before, so that's very nice. I think they're also one of the fast-growing plants that I own, and they always produce pups. My original mochi, he produced, I think, already like 5 babies. This is still a baby itself, so when he gets a little bit bigger, he's gonna start producing variegated babies for me, which I cannot wait. That is something that I look forward to next year. And also, I just repotted him into a bigger pot. Before, he was in a way smaller pot. Like, this is already quite a small pot, but he was in a smaller pot than this, so I upgraded him. Ooh. My channel name is mochiimegg, so it's kind of, you already know that this plant is going to be in this video. So my second top favorite plant is the variegated string of hearts, and I fell in love with the normal string of hearts. I've always wanted a variegated version. I only found it in one store, and it was like 125 dirhams, so I was like, you know what, no. So when I went back to Bangkok, I found it's beautiful. Here she is, and she's just beautiful, and I love that the leaves are like so big and plump. I think when I bought it from the seller, she kept it in a really nice lighting, so they got sufficient light. That's why the leaves are big. They're like one of the easy care plants that I've ever owned. I also wait for this soil to completely dry before watering, so like I said again, when I think it's dry, I water it the next day. You really need to also be careful a little bit of the soil medium. It needs to be super fast draining. So once you water it, there should already be water coming down from the drainage holes at the bottom. The soil needs to be super fast draining because they don't like wet feet, you know? Other than that, they're like really easy care, and I only water him 2 weeks, one and a half week. I don't know, I just water him, and she's been doing really well. So with this plant, you want to make sure that she gets a really good amount of light. That would help increase the variegation in her leaves. If you're putting her in a very low light condition, the leaves will start producing a green color, and that's because when there is no light, the plants tell itself like, oh my god, there's no light, and I need to suck in as much light as possible, because sunlight is the food for the plants. The plants will then trigger itself and then be like, okay, I need to produce more green leaves in order to absorb as much sunlight as possible. So that's why you kind of need to put it in a bright indirect light, so then the variegation will stay. I found this super cute plant pot from, I went to the Mall of Emirates 2 days ago, I think, and I found this in Home Center. This is what I've been looking for like forever, and they were on sale, so I was just like, I immediately grabbed it, and it was the last one, so I'm super happy that I got this one. It just looks like she has hair, and I think that's the most prettiest thing, and I just love her even more with this pot. So yeah, this is my second top two favorite plants. So my top three is my Monstera, I almost forgot the name, Monstera Addisonii, and I love him so much more now because I put him in a moss pole, and I filmed that video as well, so if you haven't watched it, you can check it out. So I love this plant even more, and in the beginning I never really liked it, and I was just like, you know, it just looks like really normal. I went to one of the Dubai Garden Center and I bought him, and he was like really small, and I bought him for 79 dirhams, which is quite pricey for the size that I bought him. But I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna give him a try, give him a chance. So I took him home, and he was still like, I was still like, okay, yeah, you know, he's not that bad. Once I came back, he just grew so much, and he was just so full. I started falling in love with him, and then I decided, okay, I'm gonna put him in a moss pole. So I did that. And I also like extended it a bit higher, so it's just like, I don't know, I fell in love with him even more. It's a process, you know. Sometimes with your plants, it takes time for you to fall in love with them. I mean, you could like them, but it takes time to really fall in love with them. I think that's like with people as well. I don't know, it's really strange, but that's how it is sometimes. Basically, the care for him is that he does have a problem a little bit of yellowing leaves, and that's because, like, you know, the roots might be soaked in water for a longer period of time than they would like it to be. So just make sure that the soil is fast draining. You know, just water him when the soil is completely dry. I'm just really excited for him to outgrow this moss pole. I think right now it's around 90 centimeters, almost like 1 meter tall of a moss pole. This is gonna be the maximum height that I'm gonna let him grow. So if he grows over that, I'm just gonna cut him and propagate him to make a new plant, or either put him back down here so it becomes more fuller at the bottom. But that's basically it. So he's what number are we? Top 3, right? So yeah, he's basically my top 3, and yeah, that's basically Okay, so my top 4 would have to be the Stephania erectas, and I fell in love with this when I went back home, and it was like a really big hit there, and it was just in trend, and I was like, what is all this about these plants? Like, it looks like a potato. And then I did some research, and I found pictures of it, and I was like, oh my god. I'm obsessed with plants that have circle leaves. Like, I'm just obsessed. It's my thing. Yeah, basically they come like this, so they're like Codex plants. All of their nutrients and everything is in the bulb itself, and it looks like a potato. It's just, I don't know, I find that super cute. And when you put it in a really nice pot and you decorate it with like pebbles or rocks around it, it's just the most prettiest thing. I actually had one that grew with leaves, but it's back in Bangkok with my boyfriend, so right now I don't have the ones that have the leaves yet, but this is one that is the most fast growing one. As you can see, there's already one stalk, but no leaves yet. The leaves are like really small circular leaves, and it's just super cute, super aesthetic as well, and it follows that minimalism vibe, you know. So if you don't want a lot of space and you just want like a really cute artistic plant to put on your desk or anywhere, I totally recommend this plant. So basically for their care, they are super easy to care for. All their nutrients, like I mentioned, is in the bulb, so you don't really have to water him quite often. I maybe like water him once a month or every 3 weeks, because he's also indoors and the soil doesn't dry that quickly. You don't have to really worry about him because everything he has is within himself, you know? He's a self-care plant. Just give him bright and direct light, not too strong because then the leaves will really burn. He's like super easy. You can just put him there and then he'll thrive, you know? He has like his own self-care going on here. My top 5 is I don't know how to call this scientific name, but I just call him the butterfly plant. I first saw him on Instagram, so I fell in love with him, and I didn't know that they bloom, which is like crazy because he started blooming on Christmas Day, so that was a really nice surprise. I love like plants that are like that look like butterflies. Like, I would put my oxalis as top 6, but this is a top 5 video, so yeah. When the wind blows, it really looks like there's butterflies flying, so I don't know, I love it. They're very, very delicate, so I would say you need to really be careful about the leaves because sometimes when you touch it, it falls off. So you need to be a little bit careful about them. And the watering, they drink so much water that I feel like she has a drinking problem. And I water her maybe like every 5 days or something because like she has a drinking problem, really. But she's super easy to care for. You just have to be a little bit careful about the watering because once you let it go too dry, then her leaves will start to go all crispy and fall off. So you just need to look like, okay, if the top is like really moist, you don't want to water it. But once you see that the top is a little bit dry, then you look into the soil and it's just a little bit dry, you know, you just water her and then that's basically it. There's nothing much. Just don't let her go completely dry because then that's when she goes all dramatic and she just drops her leaves. So yeah, this is my top 5 favorite plants of this year. There's nothing else more to say. So that is my top 5 favorite plants. This year has been a crazy, crazy year and I've learned so many things about myself and so many hobbies. But yeah, I hope everybody has a great new year and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!